So, some of you might have to inform me of how this would work. So, the idea of the ruble being backed up by gold, and that the United States, there's some story running around that the United States is going to do something to gold markets, or I couldn't quite understand what the actions would be to then stop Russia from having a gold-backed ruble, which has been the rumor now for over a decade. It's at least a decade that I've been following, but it's really, I mean, everyone who probably watches this channel, you were there to see the various videos disclosing what is most likely the amount of gold held by China and Russia. So therefore, if there was a gold-backed ruble, it would just be that it would be gold-backed yuan, ruble. I can't believe I'm forgetting the Hindu currency. That would back up that market trade system, that digital market trade system, or put it into that, and that's what would back that up. So I don't know. It's just that I'm finding it interesting. Oh, okay. I'm finding it interesting, and even with such a discussion, like what is going to be the mechanism by which they would do this, so that this would be pulled off. So there's that. And so I've actually had to think about this, that not so much come down on a side. It's that I think Ukraine is a $3 bill to a great extent. Like, while I don't think Russia has this sort of greatness and power, the Slavic icy wind of death or something, I also am not sitting there thinking like, and Ukraine will be able to hold them off. What we're hearing, the way that these stories are so globo-chomoed out. I mean, and just so much to the point that, I mean, they're just completely preposterous. You know, that now all of the stories, they're just getting more and more preposterous, and now more and more embarrassing. The trolling that's going on, you know, that Anderson Cooper, I mean, they had to have trolled him. I mean, who thought they were going to get away with dressing some guy up in like some rando helmet, and he puts on a bad accent, and people would think he was really a Ukrainian pilot shooting people down with his gigantic beard, which then also talks to you. So that's the Ukrainian military has pilots that have a beard that's going gray. Round-faced pilots with beards that are going gray. You know, I mean, that was pretty bad. That was I mean, the idea of like that being an embarrassing troll, or, you know, like a great gag on Cooper. I mean, this is way beyond that. When we look back on it, it's going to be way beyond that, because I mean, if anyone in the studio, that's one of the wealthiest like networks ever, and that they got trolled that hard by a guy pretending to be a Ukrainian in a costume with a beard in a plane. I mean, that's sad shit. That's sad shit. So that's why I'm thinking Russia's going to win this, and it's going to be the worst possible, with the pathetic tap out. That's what I think it's going to come down to. That it's going, and that literally all these networks, everyone is going to play it. Like, there's talks. At some point there's going to be talks. It's going to come to the crisis point. There'll be talks. and then the story will go away like COVID. Literally, Ukraine will go away like fucking COVID. I mean, because that's the saddest. That would be the saddest, most humble, most you get fucked in the ass again. You get no money. You get nothing. Good day, sir. to all of us. I mean, that would be just the ultimate. And that the EU will look bad, and because there's no way they have to use Nord Stream 2. There's no other way. And actually, this is even better. This is one that I only found out by accident, that the Biden administration is fucking with pipelines all over like the world. Like they're fucking with like pipeline funding and money in other parts of the world. So it turns out somehow they're fucking with Israel's ability to sell natural gas or something like that. I've got to look it up again now that I just thought about it. But yeah, the Biden administration is trying to do something to play around with energy. And it looks like it's literally trying to simply force everyone on the planet to try to use battery power, which of course would still come from coal and oil. Yeah, I mean, this is being so amazingly poorly handled. I've got to admit, I have to believe that something that Donald Trump, and especially the fact that they couldn't get him on any charges, so he still has all of the privileges of a past president, and now everybody knows the score. He's got even more wealth than before with this new effort he's doing with media. And everyone, and you could tell, like, people, that's what it is. They're really afraid of that. They're really afraid of what's going to happen when he unleashes that. Because once he still hasn't told people officially we don't know if he's running or not. So he's got a lot of these people like, fuck, it's the long kind of samurai movie thing where they're waiting for the draw, they're like waiting for the conditions to be just right, but seriously, it's, for whoever wants to come at him. And then the thing is, he's also kind of letting this space open up. Like, okay, so if you're a Republican governor or something that you're going to, fucking do something, well, do something. And I've really been thinking about that one. Like, DeSantis, it's really going to be interesting to see who comes out of, especially a lot of these Supreme Court hearings, like, see who comes out of this looking like, no, I get what the populists want. I mean, Hawley is pretty dope. But we gotta keep watching. You gotta watch these people because they have power. So you gotta watch out to see, because you never know. You never know what they might get into, what they might be up to. Who knows exactly what's going on with Ted. Ted, I don't think Ted's earned enough enemies in Washington yet. I think that he needs to earn himself a few more enemies, powerful enemies, so that finally we realize, yes, Ted, you need us just as much as we need you, But I do think that Ukraine is going to lose, and it's going to be by tap-out negotiations. I think they're going to give in to most of the Minsk agreements in the long run. It's going to take a very long time. I think they're going to keep, that at some point what it is, it's going to be stop shelling civilian areas. Because that's the Ukrainians. That's not the Russian side. The Ukrainians were contiguously shelling areas where there were civilians. And that really is well known, agreed upon information. Nobody denies this. This idea that there's really something weird going on the right side of politics in America. It's like, Russia's not I wouldn't want to live there. But there's also this kind of thing of like, Putin can't build the Soviet Union back. He can strengthen the Federation and assure that the Federation doesn't get broken up by sort of international and Western interests, which has been a major focus of international and Western interests because of control of Eurasia. What I just don't like this idea that we refuse to allow Russia to become kind of a stable, normal place for at least a generation. I think that the right wing of politics here needs to really understand this idea of, if everybody eats, dads stay busy. Dads have something to lose. A generation of kind of post-drug addled cultural collapse doesn't. So it's this thing of like, give people something to lose and you will have peace. Allow them to know what it's like to have something that they don't want to see destroyed, and you will have a peaceful relationship with them. It's and also then it relies then again on the thriving of market economics and allowing the natural market economics to happen. And this also then accrues to the cultural capital model, like Thomas Sowell talks about cultural capital. And if you allow cultures to develop cultural capital over a generation, you won't have war because they have that to lose. So just that's my call on what's going on with this war, supposedly. I think they're going to tap. I think the EU is going to take an embarrassment like we can never imagine.